Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome. I am back with another video in our game animation sample project that we are currently making. So, still working on the combat, so let's just keep working on that. Can't really remember what we made the last video. I did a quick fix, because you can see the camera is, when I'm locked on here, the camera is way more static. So I just wanna quickly fix that, or quickly show how I fix that. Or wait, in the base class, not the NPC, in the player class. This one, the base, the GASP character. I just added this. So I grab the combat components. If we are locked on, we're not gonna do any camera inputs because it was fighting each other. Like the camera input, the inputs from the mouse and the lock on camera were fighting each other. So made it very stuttery and stuff. So now it's a lot smoother. So when I'm locked on, I can't move. If I move my mouse, the camera still stays put and keeps focusing on the actual locked on NPC. So that seems to work a lot better. So let's just continue working with the combat. We need to be able to kill our guy. So let's start with adding a health bar, I guess. And we already have a health bar for our player. So let's just copy this one and call it overhead health bar. Make it a little bit smaller. You design yours however you want to. Slider. I don't know, something like that. And we're gonna open our FC. I wonder, can I make this procedurally without having to add it here? I mean, let's try. I'm not sure if this is gonna work or not, but let's try. In play, we are gonna try to do it here. Create component, add component by class, widget component. I think I'm gonna add a widget component to our owner, which is the MC. And that should attach it. Not entirely sure how to do this. Don't I do this with the... I do this with the lock-on system, don't I? Targeting widgets, so it's the same thing. Lock on, attach component to component. So I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna copy these first parts. And collapse it to a function, and I'm gonna call this function set up overhead health bar. And then we can reconnect this. Perfect. And Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Okay, cool. So we want to in this one we also obviously need to do the overhead. Which is components. Nope. We're gonna promote this to a variable. Like so. And we're gonna call this overhead health bar component. And that's how we actually do it there. So now we're gonna grab the component and create the widget here. So this will be overhead health bar. And we're gonna set the widgets. Okay, let's see if a health bar appears. It does not. It's because... Oh, there it is. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I probably do other things with the other one. So we also need to do this, this. We need to do everything. Basically, it's the same function. It's probably gonna be like 120 or something. And needs to exchange all of these local widgets with this one. There we go. Okay, now it appears as we want to. Perfect. So now we need to figure out the size. Okay, it doesn't actually get smaller. I mean, that's fine, right? That's a decent size. I just need to know all of the stuff. What's that called? I am looking for maybe the pivot. Is that pivot? No, but I know. Actually, we need to open the overhead health bar and then we need to actually anchor it everything to the middle instead. And that should be fine, I think. Yes, perfect. Then we need to add to the offset so it's a little bit higher. Add local offset, we're gonna try 50. That was the wrong offset. No, what? 250. Why is it? Okay, it's the wrong offset clearly, which is weird. It shouldn't be. So maybe not the offset, because you can see this is the location, so maybe not the offset. Set transform. Set relative location. And let's do 100. That is still way off. That is weird. Because I'm attaching to the mesh, which is not what I should. There we go. Way better. Okay, perfect. Now it's attached to the capsule. Perfect. So we have a health bar. Let's do 75, 80. And let's maybe actually... Yeah, I think that's fine. And there's gonna be some issues here. There's no really built-in good solution for Unreal Engine for like overhead health bars and distance visibility. Like there should be a setting in my opinion, like it's not really in here. But you see the further away we go, the widget keeps the same screen size, which makes sense because that's generally how you would do it because it's on the screen. But it looks pretty silly with the MC being that small. So there should probably be some kind of setting to like hide it automatically after a certain distance. I'm sure you can do that with materials and so on. Check the camera distance or something, I don't know, or the screen distance. And we can do it with logic, it's just we're gonna have to do it with logic, it's just annoying to do it with logic. So there's a couple of ways we could manage that. But first let's actually update the health bar, make sure it's nice. So the overhead health bar will start this. It will start as hidden. Perfect. So now, whenever we damage the MC, we should some damage, repair some damage. Here's our main damage function. So BINPC component. We need to add a function called toggle overhead health bar visibility. And that's probably it for now. Visible. As an input, and then we are going to grab the actor. To local variable, current current actor in loop, just so we cache the variable. So now we can use this cached variable here and here to make it look a little bit nicer. What did I do there? There we go. And then we can use this. Ah, okay, we already have the hit result, so we can just use that. But find component by tag. And I can't remember what tag I used, so I'm gonna go in here and check. We have a bunch of tags, so we're gonna do combat. Call toggle health bar visibility. And then we need to open this one. And call toggle health bar visibility. And we're gonna grab our no. Actually need to cache this variable here as well. So that we have a reference to the actual widget as well. So we have the component, which is the actual component attached to the character, and then the widget class, which is the widget that this component is using. But that is the component, so let's set visibility. So this means that when we hurt the character, we should see the health bar, which we do. So that is perfect. So now there's lots of design decisions here, like should it be permanently visible or whatever. I think I'm gonna do like a timer. So if we don't hurt the NPC, actually we can just, this is pretty simple, we can do, this is one of my favorite nodes that got added a while ago. I don't use it that oftenly. People will like, don't use delays. Well, this is just a cosmetic event. Doesn't really matter if it backfires. It's not going to clog up a bunch of other logic and cause code races and stuff. This is purely a simplified timer that gets re-triggered whenever we call this function again. So we can do a timer of 5 seconds, and if this doesn't re-trigger within 5 seconds, we're gonna turn off the visibility. Two, three, four. Look, perfect. So this is a function contained within the NPC class. So each NPC class is responsible for its own timer to hide its health bar. But this is also only running on the client because it's a widget. It's purely cosmetic. So this is basically each client's own computer is gonna handle this. It's not any performance on the network whatsoever. So that is fine. And we actually can do like this. So if true, we're gonna use that, but if false, we're just gonna set it to false, so we can still use the interface to turn off the visibility instantly. For instance, when the character dies. Healthbar visibility function. When visible gets visible when the character takes damage, and turns invisible again if no damage is done for a period of time. Perfect. So that is 21 minutes. Should we do... Let's just continue. It's easier for me to just do a little bit longer videos, because then I don't have to upload a million times. So let's just keep going. I know it's easier to follow shorter videos, at least that's what I think, but Healthbar, what am I doing? I want to actually apply damage. Do we even have health? We don't, right? NPC details, you see there's no health here, so let's add that. So we enter our struct. Gonna add a variable. Max health. So in the setup NPC details function, we're gonna grab the max health, we're gonna promote to a variable. This will be called current health. So current health gets set to max health on begin play. This is the thing, it also needs to replicate, because if one character hits the enemy, so the health bar gets turned visible, and the player actually, the NPC actually loses health, the health bar will be updated on that local player, but it also technically needs to be updated on other players as well, even though it's not really visible for them until they actually hurt that NPC. So this is going to be a rep notify. I mean, this is a sign decision as well. This could technically be a multicast to update the health bar as well, I believe, because generally you will be close enough for it to update anyway. Like, it's very rarely you will hurt an enemy, leave, not hurt that enemy more, and then another player approaches this 10 minutes later. In that case, then rep notify will be better, because the multicast might not have triggered for the other player, but it's such a rare occurrence, so that probably a multicast is fine as well. So you can do however you want to. I'm gonna use the notify. So whenever we take damage, get the current health. We don't actually have a damage number here. Let's just hard code it for now. So we're gonna get the NPC details, break, current health. This will be the percentage of the health bar, but that's not what I'm after here now actually. So the current health, I'm just gonna do, let's do 20 damage on each hit for now. Set current health. This always happens on the server, because we know we sent the received damage event on the server. So we can now go in here. And we need to remember how we actually updated our health bar. Set percent. This is a reference to the overhead health bar widget, which is fine in this case because we're this overhead health bar will exist whenever the NPC exists anyway. It's a very small asset, so it's not really gonna do any difference on the updates, and we are on this setup function. We are referencing the health bar here as well, so it's going to be loaded into memory anyway. If we want to avoid that, we need to save this to a variable, async load it, input it here, and that's a lot of work now, so I'm not going to do that. Maybe in the future, but this is completely fine to do because, as I said, the health bar will always be here in memory anyway whenever an NPC is loaded in. So we're going to get the overhead health bar widget, set percent. So the percent will be set on all the clients when they arrive. And the visibility when we hurt it. Let's see if that works. I feel like I missed something, but let's try. Well, it does work, but we also need to set a max health. So let's do 100. Look at that, beautiful. Perfect. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. As always, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Helps out a lot. I forget to say that all the time. But yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.